see from Golden Guardians is them just drafting strong lanes. I love this Syndra pick because it's a pick that we saw them actually flex into bot lane yesterday, and this is a pick that got buffed on the last patch, so her Q is better. So you can play her mid or you can play her bot, and this is good for Golden Guardians playstyle because what they've struggled at generally is falling behind early game, and with this first 1-2 draft, it allows them to have a strong early game and allows them to then macro from a position of strength.
Yeah, and a lot of the matchups in the bot lane are quite good. I mean, in LEC, we also see the matchups in this case, it's going to be against Varus, even if you're going up against Aphelios, and if it has, in this game, it won't have access to the Thresh, like that extra bit of safety. The Syndra QE or any stun is a perfect setup for your support to follow up as well, so it's really difficult for immobile carries to deal with it. In this case, it's almost as if FBI is doomed to come into this game with cleanse.
Right, I don't personally like the Syndra bot lane. Thankfully, it's not.
Yeah,
no offense to the AD carries playing it, but when I see them playing Ziggs, I see them playing Syndra, they're definitely a lot worse at those champions than players that actually play mid are. It's not like they suck at the champion or anything like that. It's just that the mechanics of how they lane on the character is a lot different, and they don't know how to do it that well. So I like that it's not going bot.
Golden Guardians have put themselves in a low damage, pick composition to position. 100 Thieves seems like they can just go for like a bit of a scaling mid lane. They can go towards something like an Orianna. Ryze has been banned against.
It's high damage, right? Just burst. It's not consistent damage. Like Syndra Jhin does a lot of burst, so it's not that they don't have damage. It's just that it's very concentrated.
Exactly. That's why I think 100 Thieves is in a pretty good position to scale with consistent DPS mid lane. We'll have to see what matchup they get into. One of the benefits of showing your exact matchup in third pick red side is that you can ban for mids here now. So I'm expecting a second mid lane ban here from Golden Guardians.
Yeah. One thing I would like to see 100 Thieves do is just draft really, really clear engage. Like even more so than I think the Nautilus. Like one of the picks I've liked to see Ssumday on recently is the Ornn. I think Ornn provides a lot of what this team needs in terms of just clear signaling on how to start a team fight. When we saw him on Gnar yesterday, he spent a lot of his time in side lane, and 100 Thieves just wasn't playing very well around managing his rage bar. And there were a lot of fights where it looked like they wanted to have him engage and initiate, but you can't really choose your fights necessarily with Gnar. It requires a lot of setup that I haven't seen 100 Thieves be consistently compelling around. I like the Zach ban.
Yeah.
I'm really sad about it because I thought Iconic looked great on the pick yesterday, but I think considering that Golden Guardians already has some pretty strong lanes that can cover for Zach in the jungle, the ban makes sense.
Yeah, with that taken away, they get their jungler locked in.
I actually kind of like the Ornn thought from here because, like I said earlier, Syndra Jhin are very burst-heavy champions.
Yeah.
You don't want to be hitting an Ornn, and Ornn wants to be tanking that kind of damage, so I feel like that'd be a good round out here. The only problem is that it's a blind pick Ornn, which I guess isn't that punishable in the first place. Like, I don't think there's that many top lane champions that he could pick here that would punish it. I feel like that'd be a great pick personally.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves, the hover on Orianna makes a lot of sense, like I said earlier. They just have a lot of good scaling elements within their composition. They need that one more beefy champion, so an Ornn would make a lot of sense. And also, the fact that Golden Guardians went towards an Olaf means that they're really centered around the mid game. If they don't get their dragon stacking, seems like it's going to be a Gwen, but if they don't get the dragon stacking online, if 100 Thieves do end up getting their core 2-piece items on the Orianna and on Viego, then it can be difficult for Golden Guardians.
Gwen's kind of tanky, right? Because she tosses under shot, she takes no damage.
There it is.
So Jhin 4th shot comes in or Syndra ult comes in, boom, you toss something. She's tankier than Ornn in that situation.
Okay, but we're not getting Ornn. We got a Gwen last pick, and I don't like it personally. I think that since the nerfs to Gwen, her ability to be a threat later in the game and even to trade in lane is much reduced with the attack speed nerfs. And personally, even irrespective of what this individual pick does, I think 100 Thieves really.
Oh!
Yeah, that's a cheese pick if I've ever seen a cheese pick.
Oh yeah, hi, tell me, why do you think the Singe is coming out to play?
I don't know, but it's 100% cheese. I don't play Singe. I don't know very many people that play Singe, but specifically to counter Gwen, whether it does or not, I don't actually know, but I'm ready for the cheese, and I don't like it, but.
And I think just in general, something to watch out for with Golden Guardians composition is just that, for sure they're going to be setting up for pick around these mid and bot lane if they can find a pick around Leona as well. but Singed just running into your enemy comp. I want to see what the build's looking like. If it is Anathema's chain as well, it's going to be really difficult for Varus and specifically Orianna to kind of deal with them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I actually really like this Golden Guardians draft. I think what you have is basically Singed, Olaf running in on 2 mobile carries. You have Leona ulting in, and you have Jhin engaging from long range to follow up. So overall, I'm not sure if the Singed was planned or if it's a counter pick into Gwen, but I like how this plays in the 5v5.
Right. They just have to make it there, right? Like if their laning phase all across the board is kind of weak, so if they can make it out a lane phase where they can actually run at the champions, I think they'll be in a good position. But if not, they might be kind of doomed.
Golden Guardians still trying to strut that flexibility in the drafts here against 100 Thieves. I'm ready to find out who comes on top with the first W of this sassy Saturday. Let's hand things on over to Phreak and MarkZ.
Thank you very much, Little Tigers. Welcome to the caster desk. I am Phreak. This is MarkZ to my side. And, you know, I've got to cast with so many people so far this play. Cast with Zale, cast with Kobe, I've cast with Raz, now I've cast with you. It seems they saved the best for last, which is why you're casting at the beginning of the day.
Hey, I was like, there's no way you're complimenting me. So I was just waiting to see when the turn came.
Yeah, there's
pretty
the
good
turn.
one. Do you have your little tier list of people you casted with?
Yeah. You're at S tier.
Okay, thank
Yeah, S for stupid. And I want to point out, by the way, hi, I don't blame you for not knowing the matchup, but Singed is one of the hardest counters to Gwen. You can check the tapes back in week 1 or 2. This was one of the 5 champs I called out as one I really, really, really wanted to see against Gwen. This lane is practically free. She does not have the ability to fight him on any terms she wants.
Yeah, I mean, lack of hard CC is one of the things that usually a Singed is happy about. The fact that she is pretty auto attack reliant and wants to stick on top of you and just kind of snip, and they talked about the nerfs.
Yeah.
So probably going to be one of those matchups that's very easy to proxy farm in, and you kind of just ignore the Gwen after you get enough levels to start doing that.
You can also scrap her with her, by the way, right? Because basically at any point in time, you can just walk up and fling into Poison Trail, and she's like, I can walk out a Poison Trail now.
I can E at you, I guess, if I'm off the goop.
Yeah, but into more Poison Trail. Yeah, it is very easy to win the scraps. Yes, eventually Gwen buys Sustain, but once she has that, like Licorice will have his Leandries online or something, and so it can actually look pretty good. You can see having to dodge the snip attack speed, doing okay.
Yep, just try and run around the Gwen. I mean, it's funny because like whenever you have a cool counter pick, you're like, let's focus on that in the matchup. But like a Singed matchup is actually usually pretty boring to watch after a little bit, where it's like, all right, he's just ignoring the Gwen.
A nice little bit of fighting in the bottom side right there. Stixxay already at half and chugs through one of his few potions. For all our Spanish-speaking viewers, as we get more flings, please sure to check out the Spanish broadcast being produced by our friends on Twitch TV/FlyQuest, as indeed FlyQuest is the one putting that one on. You can switch over there if you want to, otherwise stick with me and Mark.
Yeah, no, see a little bit more bot lane aggression here. On that Singed pick about how it fits into the team comp too, because it's very much like, oh, this is a sick counter pick, but like what it's going to do in the rest of the game. I actually think it's pretty annoying for things like Varus and, you know, the Orianna, who are pretty immobile, and if you can't stop him from reaching you, he's going to charge through your team. And then the long range of the Jhin, the Leona, and even the Syndra a little bit, have a good job of following up on this Singed who's going to be charging in.
So definitely going to be looking for what the team fights actually look like. I think you do have to build some ability power on Singed to be useful. He's not good full tank. Quick Trinket Ward comes down from Leona. You can see kites around behind the turret, goes over, puts it over the wall, make sure that you can spot if Closer goes for fight down from Scuttle. The more trading on the bottom side as Chime gets chunked on a half HP, and FBI and Huhi kind of back on form, getting a lot of damage down in this lane.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see them playing well after a bit of a downturn in recent weeks. Yeah, I would say, like, you know, not like they became terrible or anything, but they went from dominating every single lane to falling a little bit behind, sometimes getting solo killed or 2v2 killed.
Yeah.
Ganks coming in and stuff. So they have a lot of pressure now. Both junglers clearing top to bottom makes a lot of sense because we're talking about how, despite how interesting the matchup is, not super interactive in the top side. And Closer getting Scuttle Crab here, getting some vision control, and unlocking Huhi to start roaming around.
All right, looking at the junglers spotting each other in mid lane. I believe Iconic would have been on vision, but he's trying to, you know, skirt around minion vision. Maybe got seen on the way out right there as minions push in. Now definitely is known as Closer puts Trinket Ward across. Iconic has not gotten his recall off, neither has Closer. The second wave of camps is coming up right around now. As top Scuttle, looks like that'll be controlled and smited, and that's going to go the way of 100 Thieves.
Nice double scuttle there by Closer, ends up around the strong point of the map in the bot side, then roams up to the top, gets the shove with Abbeddage to make sure they have priority to get into the river first, and then Abbeddage is just on zoning duty, making it so it's hard for Iconic to get on top of the Scuttle Crab and Closer, who just clears it out easy, and now they're off to a bit of a lead in the jungle, which is really good when you're playing against Olaf, is to make sure that if you can stay ahead of him, it makes it way harder for Olaf to just charge into your face.
For sure, and I'm curious exactly how much gold Iconic has right now, because he waited around. Okay, so 50 gold. He could have, I think, not gone for top scuttle and just instant recalled, because these Krugs have been up. It's a small optimization, right? But Krugs have been up for 15 seconds, 10 seconds about now. And if you already know you're not getting top scuttle, hit B and get on your camp sooner.
I think it's an important optimization to talk about, especially for younger players. You know, you need to recognize that, like, okay, Syndra versus Ori is a matchup that people have played a ton. It's usually a little Syndra favored early on, and you might think, like, oh, well, I'll have the shove. But because you're behind the jungle and Closer just goes mid to get the shove, then you actually can't contest either scuttle. And like you're saying, if you have the forethought that that's going to happen, you can start your recall and get onto your next clear a little bit faster. And that would probably be a small optimization you could have made.
You can see the first little bits of recalls have come through. Boosted an amp tome for Ssumday. Licorice, there's the fling. Took some damage, gets the poison trail, corrupting potion, and comes out about the same health as Ssumday is. And dodging away from the Q. Needs the next fling to come up pretty soon. And right now, just kind of trading blows. Next fling, there you go. And there's the trade, right? You get him behind you, and you say, okay, next fling, you go down to half HP. That's your potion down.
Yep, and, honestly, pretty annoying for Gwen. Her E, it's going to come up once. You try to get Re on top of him, but then just kites you out again. So there's not much she seems to be able to do in this matchup. You're talking about the AP. Seems like Riftmaker is the prioritized item in solo queue, at least, where it has a 55% win rate in this matchup.
All right, damage back and forth across the board. Chime cannot sidestep the piercing arrow. FBI chunks him down to just about 100. Potion goes back up. Stun's going to land. Closer happy to keep brawling with Iconic right now. Just the one camp up. Sheen versus Pickaxe. And we go back in the jungle to look at a Gromp.
I think this is kind of in line with how 100 Thieves tends to play a lot of their games, where it's a lot about priority and control, and Closer being unlocked to go where he wants on the map by coordinating with whichever lane has the push at the moment. He works really well with Abbeddage and FBI and Huhi.
He's going to try. Chime meets another potion, flashes away from Nautilus, not quite going to die. Is there a dive coming, though? AblazeOlive walking down, turns back around. Iconic gets to kill the ward. Watch out now for Orianna. Will there be a TP? Both top laners could show. Looks like it's going to be the recall out for Ssumday. He's pushing the wave, and it will just be Licorice grabbing it, and we go back to a small lull state.
I like the idea of Chime there, where there's this brief window where Huhi's moving with Closer to get vision control in the river, and you go, we can maybe try and get the kill here. And it was a good attempt, but Huhi was able to get back in time to defend it. Yep. Just a trade of summoners, and not able to disrupt the lane state, which is starting to go pretty heavily in FBI's favor already. A 12 CS lead pre-10 minutes. Not feeling good.
It's been really well played. Huhi has landed several really outstanding dredge line hooks. FBI's always been able to land skill shots afterwards, and yeah, you've got this 12 CS difference as basically both AD carries are now getting back into the lane. The recall is looking pretty good with Tier on a serrated Dirk. That's going to be wonderful for FBI. Otherwise, though, as we saw, both bot lanes just burned 3 summoners each, and we're kind of okay here.
And I think this is a really important game for both teams. I think for 100 Thieves, they're trying to stay ahead of EG, trying to hold on to that bye. They play EG tomorrow. They're only one game up, and the head-to-head is tied, so whoever kind of wins that game tomorrow is probably going to be the one that gets it. But if EG drops a game today against TL, and they're actually able to take this one here, then they can get enough of that breathing room potentially and get a 2-game lead.
Yeah,
so,
I think you're just guaranteed at that point.
Right, so this is really important for them. Golden Guardians obviously just trying to stay alive in the playoffs. They need this win going up for FlyQuest, where they're tied in the standings right now. So both teams have a lot of pressure to perform here, and 100 Thieves bouncing back after a rough day yesterday.
Yeah, definitely a bit of pressure here as the skill shot's going to come across, and now Ssumday, he has a flash, but can you really get away? Because Licorice is staying at flash range. This one's going to be the fling back. Oh! Cannot be hit. Couldn't get the spell off when the W came across. Now Closer is in. Licorice healthy enough to not die to this, and I am surprised. I guess Fling was still down for a moment and couldn't get the push back on a Ssumday, and he's able to just barely walk away.
Yeah, and I like the idea by Closer not to try and actually chase down the Singe there with the full health Olaf right in front of him. That would have been easy bait. So a cover there. Maybe they could have got that kill on Ssumday. The axe by Iconic went wide. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Gwen still had her W anyways, but unable to get the kill there. Unable to even get the flash, so a bit of an unfortunate gank.
Great reflex from AblazeOlive. I don't think he could have known if FBI was flash ulting, but sees it just in time and goes, only one reason Varus flashed in front of me. Good trade of the summoners.
Yeah, nice reactions there. Hold on. More fights with Licorice. Getting a little low. Why do I even care?
Yeah.
He's never in danger.
When no ult and there's no ignite means you can completely count all of her damage.
nice transition up to skin it. Finish off the Rift Herald here too. This is really clean by 100 Thieves where they go mid, they burn the flash on aggressive play, now they take the fight.
And they take the fight right now as the ulti comes across in the Olaf. A stun and a Syndra won't mean too much as they are re-engaged. Chime is out of Summoners, finds a stun. Huhi saved though, and first blood comes through for Viego. It's time now for Singe to arrive. Olaf, one hit from dead. Second reset comes across. Fling might not even get the kill. They've only traded a single one back, and now it's time to chase Singe. This could be dangerous. It's gonna force the flash away. 3-1 team fight. 100 Thieves get the scuttle, they get the herald, they get the fight as well.
Super clean by 100 Thieves there, kind of comboing a series of plays together. We have the mid roam where you're getting the flash out of AblazeOlive, getting control there. You have Closer starting off the Rift Herald after the gank on the top side fell short, and it gave them a nice window to get to the Rift Herald first, get set up, and force Golden Guardians to walk into them, which is pretty difficult.
This feels killable. Here we go. Licorice, do you like this fight? I guess not. I mean, Ssumday didn't have a ton of mana, but I think taking the mini wave was going to look really bad for him, so he's just going to knock down the wave. You see the reset comes through, 74 CS to 70. Ssumday's going to stay with ulti up. Licorice going to try to run away. Now, no mana left means this is going to be a tough chase. There's a world Licorice gets this kill. If she can't auto, she can't auto.
Oh, I missed the ult.
I think she's dead to Fling. At this point, she's dead to Fling. Licorice, I don't think she has counterplay anymore. Just, you know, don't get good up in the alcove. Alcove Gaming! Alcove Gaming, baby! What you got? Puts the goop down. Ssumday dodges it. Is he gone?
I think he's gone.
The ulti's not enough move speed. Alcove Gaming, Ssumday lives.
Unironic Alcove Gaming too, because he needed the mana regen to tick up for his E, so he sat in this little awkward spot, just played do-si-do with Licorice there until he had the E and went the opposite direction that he went. So honestly, pretty smart by Ssumday.
It was still Ssumday burning flash out to get the kill. It does mean Licorice's reset's going to look just a little bit better, as it's still a crush in front of Thieves, though. They're ready to push down to the bottom side. They get rid of a ward, get a couple of deep wards themselves. But some of that vision goes away. Still this. Oh, yeah. Oh, AblazeOlive?
Goodbye.
No! They walk up early, and Huhi misses the anchor toss.
Yeah, that wall grew a little bit there and caught the anchor toss. You know, given that Syndra had no flash and Huhi had ult, I thought that they would just commit even harder on that. You could just flash alter, and I thought they were just going to insta-kill her. Yeah. I'm a little surprised they didn't go for it. Maybe a little gun-shy there by 100 Thieves for some reason, because you know the blue buff handoff just happened, so some people are in the area, but I think you can burst the Syndra there. Yeah, they still had some other wards to track, you know, a bit of that movement. I think, yeah, they could have felt a bit safe. But end of the day, no kill picked up. Still a sizable lead to 100 Thieves. Second Dragon coming up soon. They got the first one off of bot pressure. Second one spawning pretty early and realistically on their way to a pretty fast Soul, Infernal, or Mountain in this game if they can get all four. And here you go, bottom river is controlled. Yeah, and I think revisiting that play in my head too, I think this is one of the areas of criticism that people have kind of lobbied at 100 Thieves, where it's like, could you have been more aggressive there? Could you try to explode the game more? Because if you kill the Syndra there, maybe you can start taking turret plates mid, and you really speed up the pace of the game. And by not converting on these opportunities when they get through, whether that was a mechanical misplay or they should have just been more aggressive in terms of actual attempt, you know, these are the kinds of things that people want to clean up from a first place team. All right, well, trying to roam now towards the Dragon. Big ulti coming across. Chime staying alive. Tanky in the front line. They stun Closer now has to burn the stopwatch. Gets away from FBI, but a nice ult is going to catch Syndra. Not going to mean too much more as Closer has to ult away. You can see Ssumday is TP-less. Because of Licorice getting able to proxy a wave, he can't even lose a wave under his turret, nor lose a plate as he roams down for this one. So it is map control and some of the value of that Singed. Now the repeated push towards Huhi. Has the flash, burns it, still takes actually all 4 shots on the bottom lane. Now finally Gwen is shoving the wave into the turret, and most of it will be caught by Licorice. Yeah, Licorice is going to be able to get up there. Has to run through Ssumday, but not too big of an issue. Just pops him back over his shoulder and says thank you. Yep, doesn't burn the ulti on the attack from the Gwen side. Only has to drop 2 CS. Yeah, only has to drop 2 CS as Licorice walks down the Dragon, gets the Dragon, walks all the way back. Will lose to a turret, plays the Closer summon, and trying to maybe contest a little bit here against Ssumday. Obviously pop the eye. Nope, doesn't want the 25 gold. Yeah, decent answer by 100 Thieves. You know, taking a really fast transition up to the top side, where because Ssumday was up there the whole time, they have priority. They can just drop that Rift Herald, and then Closer actually converted that into a red buff steal as well. So really not what you want to happen to lose that Drake stacking like you were talking about, where you had this bot control the entire game, but at least they kind of responded well on the top side after losing it. Nice by Ssumday, builds the turret freeze, and Licorice is like, okay, I have to go ahead and sneak into this brush then. How is it going to get played? Drops gold on 1 melee minion. And actually, with this wave only having 2 minions in it, it's possible this resets anyway, but he's going to walk out. Yeah, his resources coming to help him out, though. Chime is coming up onto the top side. You have Iconic slipping into Shadow in the lane, and this is what you need to have happen, because because there were so many resources in the bot side, you see total vision control up there in the top river for 100 Thieves, and it's just not safe for Licorice to walk up and start proxying the wave until he gets a little bit more vision down on the rest of 100 Thieves.
All right, wave gonna be knocked down. Huhi gets some of his gold as FBI kind of does the same, and we just have Stixxay receiving the wave. Doesn't know if someone's in that brush right there, right? Like that's the difficulty with that top brush being warded and unknown on the Golden Guardian side. Yeah, that one. He can't walk up and take the wave in front of his turret because if there's a flash Nautilus hook, he's just dead to it.
Yeah. So still pretty good vision control for 100 Thieves, all things considered. You know, looking at the game state, still pretty big gold lead.
Sun misses. 100 Thieves still feeling pretty good. 1-1 on Dragons, but as you mentioned, 100 Thieves should feel reasonably comfortable on a 2-game losing streak. Hoping to turn that one around as they had lost control of first place a little while ago. Top laners in battle yet again. Licorice taking kind of all the damage here, waiting around for his next fling. I believe has to flash away. Flash auto will not quite kill. Licorice now having a really hard time surviving this 1v1. As now it's Chime forced to flash away as well.
100 Thieves making some plays happen. Almost gets the 1v1 kill top. Not quite able to convert. Still getting summoner advantages. Getting the shove in top as well. Getting the flash out of Chime. Really big, you know, with 2 minutes until Infernal Drake. You're probably going to have another conflict there, and having a less engage options on Golden Guardian side by taking that away from the Leona is huge.
Looks like it's going to be Riley's or Demonic first item out of the Singed. I think both are really defensible. Demonic is actually the best of the sort of damage items. And Riley's the same build path, and obviously the permanent slow on the Poison Trail is really valuable. I'm going to keep kind of tracking that Singed. But the fact of the matter is Ssumday's got his sustain, and Licorice doesn't. With only 1 assist on the docket, he's got, you know, barely anything for from sustain here, like really just relying on what I believe are resolve runes. No, he's a sorcery secondary, so he has like absolutely no sustain tools at all, whereas Ssumday Unleashing Leer is actually doing really well in these sort of longer fights. And it kind of makes it tough for Licorice to do much in a low volatility lane, because it's all about sustain here.
Yeah, I think this is why with the Corrupting Pot, most of you don't actually want to be in lane. You want to be behind the minion waves. And the Rylai's first is pretty common, while Riftmaker is often the mythic. You know, in a lot of matchups, you do go the Rylai's first before going for it.
Yeah. So, top lane turret is dead. 2 Rift Heralds come across, and that means the turret is down. Abbeddage gets most of the share of first turret gold as they keep the push going. It crashed into tier 2, and because of Closer pushing back AblazeOlive, top tier 2 will die as well. Really excellent play by 100 Thieves to be in the right place and make the play happen. No cross-map plays available. Dragon still down for a minute. Plenty of time to reset, spend your gains, and fight for Dragon number 3.
Yeah, this is a really interesting setup here by 100 Thieves. Knowing that there's no flash on AblazeOlive, they actually put their mid laners into the top side where it's a more extended lane. And it makes it way more difficult for AblazeOlive to try and play in this matchup while also being down gold than it is for Abbeddage. Normally, neither control mage wants to be in a side lane, but when you have utility marksmen, which is what Varus and Jhin are, you often put those in the mid lane, and then you go into 1-3-1 setups. And especially in this situation, it's actually really annoying for AblazeOlive to try and wave clear. So nice punish there by 100 Thieves, kind of using that summoner advantage to not get a kill, but get a lot of gold into their pockets.
I mean, yeah, they got way more than a kill worth of gold income right now. Finally, the first item specs are coming across. Riley's is done, as you mentioned here on the Singed side. We have finished Riftmaker for Ssumday as well, so he's felt very good. And again, I will defend Singed is a counter pick, but Ssumday has won this lane, so kudos to him for doing it well. And now we get to see the fight for the Dragon. Golden Guardians hoping that they have enough power spikes. Most of them do have their first major items, so there may be a gold lead, but that gold lead is, you know, a dagger on one person, a longsword on another. The first huge items are done for, you know, 8 of the 10 champions.
Yeah, like we talked about, a bit of a summoner advantage on 100 Thieves as well. The only person without a flash is Ssumday, but he's one of the more mobile champions anyway, so he's going to be diving on the back line. Syndra, no flash. Chime, no flash. Is a little bit annoying, and that's why you kind of see Golden Guardians also not having vision control, just sacking it to get up some minions in the top side and a little bit more vision up there.
Yep, Golden Guardians are indeed going to give up Dragon. They're going to play for top side of the map. Now this should obviously trigger the spidey sense of Ssumday. Walking up for the top rush. May even, yeah, he's going to TP out of it. No blind stun going to be found, and he is out of there, but okay, you managed to kill a summoner spell, and you will eventually trade top lane outer turret, but what about your minion waves? Bot is being pushed in and unanswered. Abbeddage going to find himself a solo turret kill. Ultimately, the resources have still been better spent by 100 Thieves, as there's a Dragon on top of the fact that have 2 other lanes getting traded back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, Golden Guardians have been getting taken advantage of mostly in macro in this game. You know, I mean, there are that one Rift Herald fight that went poorly for them, but I would also argue that was mostly because 100 Thieves were able to get their you know, champions up into the river early and get in position to win that fight. Since then, it's been a lot about lane setups being in their favor and able to use more vision control to pressure Golden Guardians and being afraid to walk up.
Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, Syndra doesn't want to walk into, 4 different hard crowd controls on the 100 Thieves roster.
That's a good point.
Yeah, right. He's on Swifties, like he doesn't really want to tank the 4 seconds of Nautilus CC into a shockwave. He's there for, being able to flank well. And as you're talking about the vision control and the lane setups, like they all have pressure. Like, how do you flank when you can't even ward past the river?
Yeah, and I think, we were talking about, immobile carries, and like, Gwen's a good matchup, but then to your point, sometimes there's so many things to consider, like, oh, well, they actually have a ton of CC because they're immobile, and it's actually scary for the Singe if he's not in a flank position to just try and brute force through that team. And so it's been a bit tough for them. Licorice should, in theory, have the push, and then you can rotate first. Then you can get down, and the Gwen's in the side lane while you were able to move down without needing to TP, which is one of the positions they got in at Dragon at one point. That's what you want to have every single time when you have this pushing top laner. But because things haven't been going so well in the team situations, Licorice has not been able to proxy farm and dirty farm quite as much as he wants to.
And he hides from a 3-level down jungler here. And yeah, okay, autoing a turret 3 times is not that valuable, but eventually Abbeddage does show up now as well, but he's been really unable to do any level of pressuring.
Yeah, I mean, it's because FBI and Huhi stood off the wave after they shoved in. Instead of hitting the turret, they kind of just stood out of vision, and then Licorice is like, well, they could be collapsing down through river. We have no wards at all on the bot side, so obviously you're right, he can't walk up. And the 3 hits on turret is more symptomatic of the problem that they're having right now than the reward that you are looking for. It's more like, hey, we can't walk up and do the things that we actually need to get pressure more than just nuke a turret down.
All right, well, looking at this wave right now, Licorice, does he feel like taking this fight? Has to always respect the slows, the possible shockwave, and yeah, working out pretty well here. Now fighting the mid side, close. Ooh, wow, huge damage into Chime. Jumps around, he will die, and there will be no answer back for the 100 Thieves.
Quick pick off in the mid lane there. Being able to come in through the bot side where they were not quite sure how many members were in the mid lane, and so caught out of position a little bit too far forward. Also, AblazeOlive was shoving in the top lane during that time, not in position to actually take that fight. So 100 Thieves get the quick kill. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to get too much more. Don't want to pressure the Baron yet, which I think is a good call. It's a little early for that. And here you see they're just like, oh, well, maybe we can go into FBI here. Gets locked up, closes in range, Ssumday's in range, Huhi's in range, and what you think is a 1 or 2 man mid lane fight that you're taking is actually a 4v3.
Yeah, and just like that, I mean, the damage came across, the needlework landed, the Varus big snipe with 3 stacks came through, and once again, it sucks to see, but I understand it. Golden Guardians have had times where they can hit the turret, but without the vision, they don't know. It's like, well, there's a 20% chance I just die, and 80% chance that the turret might get killed. But, sometimes you can't take that risk, and those are made-up numbers, right? It could be higher or lower on either side, but it's like, I get why they can't do it, but we keep seeing this case where it's like, oh, actually, Licorice could have been hitting it. And now Licorice, by the way, going for a tankier build, not only has an Oblivion Orb to get some healing cut, but he's just going pure tank. He's going towards maybe a chem tank to try to get the way in.
Chem tank is an option, though after all the nerfs that came through, obviously a little bit less prioritized. But if you think that, hey, I just need to survive more than do damage, I mean, that's ideally why you have the Leona and the Olaf as well to be frontline, so you can be that little bit more a bigger threat when you get onto the back line with these flanks that we were talking about. But if you're just going to be charging in front to back, then yeah, Chem tank's a little bit better for that.
Yeah, I can't imagine using either of the other Sunfire upgrades. He already slows you, and I just don't think he wants the melee damage Sunfire, but we'll see if he really does go Sunfire Aegis. Now another hook into the mid lane, damage in on a Chime. Huhi going to sidestep this pretty reliably. Closer going to hop out as well. No stun to be found, but Licorice has TP'd in, but Licorice doesn't even want to be part of this fight. Not a single person to throw anything at, and he's just poison trailing his own dead minions, and sadly the Singe, much as I love to see it, is not effective in this game.
Really struggling, and now with the third Infernal Drake, or second Infernal Drake, third Dragon for 100 Thieves spawning, they have very difficult time to get involved.
Anchor's gonna land big damage there. Not gonna kill the ult just yet. Stopwatch used. Licorice wants to get into FBI, gets the fling, but there is absolutely no follow-up. It's gonna be a trade of supports right now, and Licorice already is on the way out. Can't get any more damage done. A flash in from Closer. That's gonna be the center. That's the kill onto AblazeOlive. Highest skill shot accuracy on the team has got to be Closer here. Lennox, every zenith plate he's thrown out, and Iconic got to drop now as well. 100 Thieves will not stop.
Nice play there by Closer, seeing the opportunity to take a 1-for-1 fight and explode it in his team's favor, picking up the Leona, the flash zenith plate in. Super clean by him, and gets the rest of the kills as well.
He's in danger. Ooh, Summoner Heal barely gets away from FBI's flash ult as Closer looks to chase down Licorice now as well. Should be able to live through it. Just takes a little Pierce and walks away.
Yeah, this is looking pretty rough from Golden Guardians here. Now, onto the Baron right away from 100 Thieves. They are trying to get as much of a lead as they can. I mean, Iconic's dead for 5 more seconds, and then the time from base to get there is honestly probably too low. It's going to be on the rest of Golden Guardians to stop this attempt.
They know, but can the fight happen? Licorice, low on mana, low on health. Jhin's going to start it out. He's not going to easily find a priority target. Waiting for the last shot. Licorice burns his stopwatch. Licorice will die. Flashes, and actually able to make them get away, as now you've got to worry about the fact that Ssumday's here. No mana for Fling, no way to get out, but credit where it's due, was able to stop the Baron.
Able to stop the Baron. 100 Thieves, because they kind of skipped their resets a little bit to attempt that, are going to be a little bit behind in tempo now. Golden Guardians should be able to grab this mid lane turret, or 100 Thieves sticking around, actually.
Now they're going to skip the recalls again to defend this one, and indeed, they're just not going to allow a single bit of gold to be earned by Golden Guardians. Spending money or not, they're still stronger on the map.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. Closer just heals up in the jungle and runs right back to defend mid lane with the rest of the team and stops that push attempt by Golden Guardians. I mean, as Golden Guardians, you're happy they don't have Baron, but it's still, you know, death by 1,000 paper cuts at this point, as they just keep bleeding out in fights, bleeding out in dragons, and unable to find any gold for themselves. This was just a decent start for Huhi. You're just like, all right, take any fight. We're strong enough now that we should be able to win. They trade 1 for 1, and this is one of the things that makes Viego so strong, is you just get extra tools now to continue the fight. Goes in, gets the second kill, picks up the Syndra soul, and honestly, doesn't land any of the skill shots, but is able to use it for some more mobility and gap closing onto Iconic. Finish him off, grab the dragon. Super clean there by Closer.
AblazeOlive and Ssumday now in a battle, both level 14, but Abbeddage about to make it a 2v1. AblazeOlive, can he run away? Dodge the first little bit, will not land the stun as Ssumday put the W down. This is not going to be any meaningful damage. Kill comes across, assist secured, 9-2.
This is beginning to feel a little doomed now for Golden Guardians. I think that their comp, we talked about being kind of front to back, wanting the flanks for the Singe. That's not happening, and now an Olaf and Singed behind the game, you know, 1.5 items, I guess 2 for the Olaf compared to 2.5, 3 for some of the members on 100 Thieves. Just feels doomed. How are you ever going to actually get onto the priority targets? Yeah, you can probably kill Huhi in a lot of these fights if you blow your Leona ults and stuff on him. I think 100 Thieves is totally fine if they let Huhi drop while they kill the rest of your team.
It's looking pretty good on the 100 Thieves side as they're looking to keep that pace going and lock in the second bye, or one of the 2 buys, into playoffs. Mid lane turret going to drop 6-1 on that score, about as stark as the Dragon score, about as stark as the kill score. 100 Thieves been in control the entire time right now. Golden Guardians definitely on the back foot here.
Have to see if they can make anything happen. They do have some pick tools. You know, we talk about the Syndra long-range stun, Chime with his ultimate. If anyone in 100 Thieves is out of position and, you know, face checks them, they do have the tools to burst probably most people aside for the Viego. Gwen as well with her W, a little bit harder to do that too. But the problem that they're running into is, again, about the vision for 100 Thieves here. There's a bit of a time where they're resetting so they can try and clear some of this out, but there's honestly so many layers of wards to have to work through that it would take forever for Golden Guardians to really get a foothold back.
Okay, stun, big damage on Abbeddage. Can they one shot? Yes, they can. Is that going to be enough, though? AblazeOlive going to be killed. Here comes the resets in for Viego. That's going to be a stun, and that is going to be death. Olaf dropping as well. Licorice going to try his hardest in the 1 versus 3. Closer about to chase down Stixxay. Can't even get his 4th shot off. No bigger sin to a Jhin than to stop at 3, but didn't have a choice. Closer still going to push down the mid lane.
A nice attempt there to blow up Abbeddage, but hold on here, Stixxay.
Flashing in, Q's going to kill him, and he's going to find it. Chime going to drop as well for the attempt to deal any damage. Licorice cutting a wave to keep the base alive. They won't lose the game just yet, but they're still on the way to losing it.
Man, Closer's hulking out this game, dude.
Yeah.
After a rough game yesterday where he had some face checks, he tried to do this red-to-red clear and got abused for it by, you know, the side of TSM. It put a lot of people's minds like, man, Closer's not an MVP, it's Speak MVP. And I think this is a huge game for Closer to be like, no, I had a misfire that game, but I'm still arguably the best jungler in the LCS. You know, it's between those 2 guys. I'm really excited to see him having such a bounce-back game after a pretty rough one yesterday. Here in this team fight, it was a good idea by Golden Guardians. We talked about, hey, they can probably blow anyone up if they can actually get on top of them aside for Closer, and they do get that, but the rest of 100 Thieves is still in range. Licorice a little bit late to the play. You see Huhi just totally focus on, hey, I'm just going to lock Licorice down and be annoying, while Closer mauls their back line, gets a number of kills, and then here, it's Stixxay's like, I guess there's an Olaf that used to be on my team running at my face, and then Closer using the kit of Viego very well, you know, being able to jump on top of him, keep chasing down over and over again, no way out.
Yeah, a little aggressive by Stixxay as well, kind of came in from Otto's going to try again now to dive the back line. Abbeddage at one hit the Dragon to lock it, and the Dragon switches aggro, so he will live a moment longer. Iconics at 5 HP, Licorice is on the way in, and Licorice is on the way out. 1-0 so far. Chime's the next up. It just kills, kills, kills. They are going to be killing everybody here. Stixxay going to heal. It's not going to matter. Closer still on someone else's body, going to be just fine.
Bit of a dicey situation for Abbeddage there. Almost caught out 2 fights in a row. This time able to survive using the Dragon as a bit of a bodyguard, able to leak out to the left side of the fight and kind of get behind his team again so he can actually contribute. And I mean, this game's over. That's Dragon still now. Yep. There's Baron on the table. Looks like they're not even going to bother healing up for it. Still about 20 seconds on 2 of the main members of Golden Guardians, so should be pretty free to pick up.
Closer MVP, certainly in the running. You were talking about it a moment ago, so sometimes, you know, sometimes Twitter gets a good take.
You know,
it's rare, but it happens.
I think this is a really interesting split for MVP. It feels like there's a number of candidates you can talk about. We've been talking about Spica and 100 Thieves members, all split long, but with the resurgence of EG flying up the standings, you know, being the hottest team in the LCS right now, it feels like maybe you're talking about Jizuke, Svenskeren, I don't know, Impact.
Right, I mean, for reference, TSM, 100 Thieves, and EG are all 17-8 in summer. They have had identically strong seasons. Okay, how the games look matter, sure, of course, but there's, just from Summer Split, a 3-way tie for first. 100 Thieves will temporarily jump ahead here, and obviously the actual records are something else, but if we're talking about just Summer Split, yeah, you've got a couple frontrunners from 3 different teams, and now we're going to try again to fling back Gwen. That's going to be the rest of the W. They're not going to find much CC, but will they get the kill? One more hit, and yes, a shutdown onto Ssumday, chasing to Abbeddage, and just like that, a 2-0. Small signs of life for Golden Guardians.
All right, maybe getting a little ahead of ourselves there, starting to talk MVP while the game's still going on, and Golden Guardians
die. It's not his fault.
Goes up to the top lane. You know, 100 Thieves, after getting the Baron, getting that extended fight, it had been a while since they'd actually gotten onto Golden Guardians' side of the map, and so did not actually have the vision set up yet, and that was just a good job by Golden Guardians getting ahead of the play, finding Ssumday in the side lane, and Abbeddage being like, oh, well, maybe I can save him, but after getting caught out a number of times, yeah, his flash still isn't up. Nice punish there, but it's still so far behind in gold, and the Infernal Soul. It's so hard for Golden Guardians.
Okay, here we go. Big damage on the Chime, knocked into the air, stunned up, and poor Iconic has been completely roasted, but the re-engage isn't any good. No, it's not. It's just a quick 2 for 0. 100 Thieves will not be stopped. Licorice gonna say, well, maybe we can try to kill the Viego. Oh, wait, he's killing my team still. Never mind. We'll jump in on Huhi. Oh, Huhi's got a shield still. Never mind, can't get that one either. Licorice gonna be going down. Yes, indeed. They just cannot find the damage. 100 Thieves, 20-5.
It's a shellacking.
Yeah. If you multiply the kills, it's 100. Perfect.
That is true.
Wow. High quality commentary here on the LCS. They have ruined it already. 105 Thieves, the Bud Light Ace, to pretty much end the game. Respawn's coming in soon. And to be fair, the health bars are low. There is the tiniest of chances.
Do it, Chime.
Chime can 1v4. He's decided he cannot 1v4. The kills will be added to. Iconic will do his very, very best. But the Nexus will fall 21-5. 100 Thieves destroy Golden Guardians.
A super clean game by 100 Thieves, all things considered, and an excellent answer to yesterday's performance, showing that, hey, we are still a huge threat in the season. They take Golden Guardians apart, absolutely dismantle them. Yet, like you said, get the heads up in the first place race right now. Other teams still have to play, but looking pretty good, all things considered. And, you know, it sets up a huge matchup for them versus EG tomorrow.
Yeah, they meet TSM back at 29 wins. Again, the EG match is terribly important, but if they drop, that's locked away, right? Only really EG is one who can catch those top teams now and get up to 29 alongside TSM and 100. So that one step closer to locking in the spot. 2-game loss streak also put away. One of those losses to Immortals, one that probably had to sting quite a lot back last week. But yeah, I do want to see if 100 Thieves can get back onto form, because they were 8-1 in one of those round robins. Like, they were really taking names for a while. And it was like, okay, are they stumbling? Like, where are they exactly? Because if they fall off like that, that's just a heartbreak.
Yeah, and I think this was a game that was pretty impressive from how they played it out. You know, it was strategically sound. Sure, there were some mistakes, people getting caught out of position, whatever. Your vision control was good. You had a good game plan. You executed well.
Yep, executed well. It is time for us to step away. But when we return, Dash is talking with FBI in the Verizon post-game interview.